Hello everyone, it's Theme Park Avenue, I'm Eric. Now that I've officially ridden both Iron Gwazi and VelociCoaster, I think it's time to truly decide which ride is my favorite roller coaster in Florida. Before we get to the comparison, make sure you subscribe to the channel. In return, you will receive more coaster content. So this comparison will start with an introduction for both rides, and then I will talk about the best aspects of each ride, and some things that don't get talked about very much that add to the overall experience. Also, I will acknowledge that some may prefer other coasters to these two in Florida. However, I think these are the two best coasters in Florida, and I'm comparing them to see which one is my personal favorite, not necessarily objective best. These rides are both in my top 5 out of 184 credits, so let's find out which ride is the best. Let's start by introducing Iron Gwazi. This ride is fantastic. The first drop is top tier. The following Outer Bank turn gives amazing floater airtime that rivals Steel Vengeance. The inversion afterwards is one of the best inversions in the world, and the ride holds its speed better than any other RMC, and the airtime after the main inversion on elements like the trick track is amazing. The ride is not super long, but it does not feel short. You feel fulfilled by the time you get off the ride. Now let's introduce VelociCoaster. The launch coaster is very different from Iron Gwazi. It starts with a decent launch, and goes into small but very powerful elements, such as the dive loop, airtime hills, and turns. The theming on this ride is beautiful, and definitely makes the first half a bit more fun. Then you go into a super powerful second launch, and into a top hat with excellent floater airtime. This part of the ride is flawlessly paced, with awesome inversions such as the amazing Mosasaurus roll. So that's an introduction to each ride. Let's draw some comparisons between the two. I'll begin with the lead up to the ride. These two rides have some of the most amazing entrance signs for a roller coaster anywhere. Iron Gwazi has an amazing sign that is massive in scale, and the lift hill can be seen behind it. There are actually two signs for the ride, and one is right above the station for the cars. You get to watch the cars dispatch from the station toward the main path, before turning around and heading into the lift hill. It's awesome to see rides dispatch while standing on the main path. VelociCoaster's entrance is even cooler, with a massive modern looking sign and two torches and raptor statues on it. The top hat is just to the left of the path, so just like Iron Gwazi, you can see part of the ride go right by the main entrance. Overall, I prefer the entrance experience for VelociCoaster. For the queue, VelociCoaster takes it as well. Iron Gwazi has some signs with animal facts, mostly about crocodiles, and a beautiful color scheme in the queue with the green and purple. However, VelociCoaster has raptor animatronics, Jurassic World Easter eggs, and just an incredibly well-themed queue altogether. So before boarding the ride, you will most likely have more fun with VelociCoaster. The loose article policy is also great on both rides, but superior on VelociCoaster. Iron Gwazi has zipper pouches on the cars for small items like phones, but larger bags and items need to go in lockers, which I do believe costs money. VelociCoaster has free small lockers for decently sized things, and you put the items in partway through the queue, and you pick them up on your way out from the same locker. Now to discuss the trains. Both trains look aesthetically pleasing, but I love the crocodile head on Iron Gwazi even more than the slick modern trains of VelociCoaster. Now to compare restraints. Hands down, VelociCoaster has more comfortable restraints. It's just a lap bar, while Iron Gwazi has shin guards on its lap bar. However, if you sit with your feet together and your knees sort of outward on Iron Gwazi, and you let your legs come up on the airtime moments, you won't think one has better restraints than the other. They'll be equally comfortable, but this is one instance, and there are many other instances where you could prefer VelociCoaster for restraints. That said, I think Iron Gwazi is the most comfortable RMC I've ridden. Now to compare certain elements of the ride. Let's start with airtime and intensity. In terms of airtime, I think Iron Gwazi has VelociCoaster beat. The floater and ejector moments are much more powerful and sustained than that of VelociCoaster. But both rides have incredible airtime moments. The floater on the one Outer Bank though on Iron Gwazi and the trick track, those beat the top hat and other elements on VelociCoaster for me. To compare intensity, This may surprise some, but I think Iron Gwazi is easily more intense than VelociCoaster. I think that partially does have to do with the speed of Iron Gwazi being higher, but the ride is super intense, and you will feel really strong forces throughout the ride, especially in the turn leading into the first inversion and the first inversion itself. That said, VelociCoaster does have some very whippy turns, but not nearly as intense, pushing you into your seat the same way I thought Iron Gwazi was. Now, for one thing both rides excel in, inversions. Each ride has great supporting inversions, with Iron Gwazi having the great stall, and VelociCoaster having the dive loop and its own stall. Of these three inversions, I think Iron Gwazi's stall is the best one, as it is the most intense out of them. Then there is the star inversion on each ride, the Mosasaurus roll on VelociCoaster, and what I'm just going to call the death roll on Iron Gwazi. These are my two favorite inversions in the world, only rivaled by pretzel loops on B&M flying coasters and the Batwing on Montu. However, I think Iron Gwazi's inversion is the best of them all, and even more insane than the Mosasaurus roll. I will quickly acknowledge just the incredible, indescribable sensation that you get with this inversion. Because you're going down at the same time as you're going through the inversion and you have so much speed already built up, I just think it's quite an intense ride. And that inversion is the specific part that just really sealed how amazing Iron Gwazi was for me. To quickly talk about smoothness, both rides are perfectly smooth and there's no rough patches. In terms of length, VelociCoaster has more to offer. There are 20 or so extra seconds of incredible elements on VelociCoaster, so it has the quantity of elements over Iron Gwazi. However, the final important aspect to talk about is pacing. VelociCoaster has perfect pacing in the second half. The first half is a bit weaker though, as it does move a bit slowly and it's somewhat inconsistent, especially compared to other intimate blitz coasters like Maverick. This fits the story of the ride as it speeds up over time, and the pacing is good, but for me, it is not as strong as that of Iron Gwazi. This ride has flawless pacing. It feels so fast and never slows down for more than a second. It seems to hold its speed up until the very end brake run, and it's simply unbelievable in that aspect. So that's all the individual comparisons I want to draw. Overall, I think if you enjoy theming a lot, you will definitely prefer VelociCoaster. It has some aspects that are superior to Iron Gwazi from the thrill part for sure as well. It has some better elements, and it's a longer ride with a bit more to offer. However, the massive elements and impeccable pacing of Iron Gwazi are truly amazing, and I think they're hard to beat from a thrill standpoint. Overall, I declare that the winner and best coaster in Florida is Iron Gwazi. I love both rides. I mentioned that both are in my top 5 out of 184 credits, but I personally think the balance of airtime and intensity is achieved better on Iron Gwazi, and I think it is a more thrilling and even more enjoyable experience than VelociCoaster. But what do you think? Have you ridden Iron Gwazi? Comment down below which ride you think is better. Subscribe for more videos, and like this one if you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.